I do want to touch on the other races, of course, the down ballot races that are perhaps equally important as we think about the balance of power in this nation. Of course, the Senate has been led by Republicans for the last 6 years. The Democrats are hoping for some sort of blue tsunami to a certain extent. We did see that Colorado did flip a seat. However, there are many of these elections still in play. We do anticipate a couple runoff elections in January, specifically looking at states like Georgia. Andrew, I want to get to you. What are some of the races that you're looking at most closely right now? Are they more contested or more kind of nail-biting than you anticipated, or is it sort of playing out as you anticipated?
Yeah, it's a bit early to say. Right now, what we know is that Democrats have picked up a Senate seat in Colorado. John Hickenlooper defeated incumbent Republican Senator Cory Gardner. We also know that incumbent Democratic Senator in Alabama, Doug Jones, lost to Tommy Tuberville, a Republican. That is a one-for-one exchange there, so it doesn't change the balance of power. And what we're going to be watching as the hours unfold tonight and perhaps into the early morning hours and even the coming days are the results out of states like North Carolina, Iowa, Maine, where Republicans are defending seats, where Democrats are still in the hunt to flip those seats. We're also watching Arizona. That race is Martha McSally, Republican incumbent. Mark Kelly is looking strong in that race. That might be another Democratic flip. But just to remind viewers, in order for Democrats to get control of the Senate, if Joe Biden wins the presidency, they need to flip 3 seats. They need to net 3 seats. So they would actually need to flip 4 additional ones, given that loss in Alabama. Conversely, in order to gain control of the Senate, they would need to net 4 seats if Donald Trump remains president. So it is unclear right now what the balance of power is going to be, and we're just going to have to watch all of these close races as they unfold.
I do want to mention that we expect Biden to be speaking at 12:30 a.m. Eastern. That's just in a few minutes here. He did kind of allude to that earlier today, that regardless of the outcome, regardless of the current state of affairs, he did plan to speak. You're getting a look at Wilmington, Delaware, which is where his campaign headquarters are. Marquise, I want to get to you. You know, Andrew was talking about some of these kind of contested races that seem to be very close. I want to kind of double down on this idea of the runoff election that we will be seeing in January. When you look at Georgia, for example, Jon Ossoff and David Perdue, looking at that election right now. And then, of course, thinking about Kelly Loeffler, who did take that vacant seat. How do you anticipate those 2 races playing out come January?
Yeah, well, honestly, obviously, the voters will determine it. But I think, obviously, there's always going to be initial enthusiasm around the Democratic candidates. Raphael Warnock, who's a preacher down there in near the Atlanta, Georgia, where actually MLK once was a preacher at the church. But we've seen in the past where, you know, when running for governor, Stacey Abrams seemed to have an overwhelming lead, and Brian Kemp overtook her by 0.4% of the margin. But there seems to be this enthusiasm initially when it comes to Democrats, but you never know when it comes to this runoff. I do think the Warnock camp, as well as the Ossoff camp, feel as though they have a great opportunity in the runoff. I think they feel good one-on-one. I know Senator Loeffler got caught up when it came to Black Lives Matter. She's also one of the owners of the Atlanta WNBA team, and she was vehemently against the kneeling and a lot of things that came out there. And Ossoff has been a rising star within the Democratic Party. So I think those are 2 names that have been out there previously, and I think they have great name recognition. So when it comes to the runoff, I think both camps feel very strong about their possibility of winning.